right. Pull this up. Okay. Make sure everything's good. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Carlito Santiago, and today I'm here to review Friday Night SmackDown before Backlash here in St. Louis. No new matches have been added, I don't believe. Let's go check that out, actually. Make sure that's not, Yep, the 5 matches. Okay. It's only 5 matches for Backlash made. But SmackDown yesterday was pretty good. So, with Backlash right around the corner, of course, tonight, WWE has a lot of work ahead of itself to set up the rest of the card and sell us the feuds. Well, the rest of the card is already set. So, what we're going to get tonight is what we're going to get tonight. They were in... I guess they pre-taped it again because they were in the Wells Fargo's. Or actually, wait, was this? Nope, wrong fucking one. Hold on. Where's the? Here we go. Where were they? There we go. The Go Home Show. John Cena returned to the Blue Brand this week to hype up his final match against Randy Orton this week. The WWE Women's Champion was also a prime focus this week as Nia Jax would take on Jade Cargill to see who would face Tiffany Stratton next. And more of the building tensions between, of course, Solo and Jacob and, of course, everybody else involved, which we started off with. But before we start off the show, please do me a favor. We appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, comment down below, and turn on those post notifications so you never miss a live stream. The show opened up with Byron Saxton stopping Damian Priest backstage to get a quick word before he and LA Knight headed to the ring for their tag team match against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Sikoa attacked Priest as the bell rang, so he became the legal man by default. It didn't take the Archer of Infamy long to take control and hit old school. Knight and Priest got into an argument as the show cut to a break to hammer home that this is an odd couple pairing that doesn't get along. They did a good job playing up the tension as the match proceeded. Or progressed, kept going. Knight and Priest got a bit of a roll, but the former world champion tagged himself in instead of letting Knight finish off a 2. A moment later, Knight did the same thing, so they both kind of just did whatever. Sikoa tried to take advantage of their arguing, but Knight was able to dodge the Samoan Spike and hit the BFT for the win. Priest and Knight got into a fight once the match was over, but Fatu took him out. And the real question was left of where the fuck is McIntyre? This is supposed to be a fatal 4-way. Well, as much as this was a decent match and followed a familiar pattern, it ended with McIntyre hitting a Claymore on Fatu out of nowhere to add a little fun at the end. It's weird how Knight just watched Sikoa attack Priest, but didn't try to do anything to help him. Not only that, but this was great to be, and you had the good guys win here. So this gives them some momentum. It also gives Drew McIntyre some momentum, being the last man standing tall. Fatu doesn't really have any, since my prediction, of course, is that Fatu retains the U.S. title. But this was a good showing from them, to show Jacob is, of course, dominant, and possibly that we get Jeff Cobb showing up to help out Solo and Jacob in this, sort of replacing Tongaloa and Tama Tonga, wherever the fuck they are. We're going to have Jeff Cobb kind of hop up in the situation here, which should be a little bit nice. Get their little 5-man group, I guess, if you want to say. But we kept the tag team matches rolling as we had, of course, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green take on Zelina Vega, our new Women's United States Champion, and, of course, a partner of her choosing. See, Green was holding a memorial service for her U.S. title reign when Nick Aldis and Zelina Vega walked in. This led to Aldis booking Green and Nivens against Vega and a partner of her choosing in a tag match. So when Vega's partner ended up being Alexa Bliss, who got a nice pop from the crowd since they were in Dayton, Ohio, Alexa Bliss basically made her entrance, and this was a pretty alright tag team match. Vega started against Nivens and fell victim to the powerhouse at first, but as soon as Green tagged in, the champ took control. It took until a break for Vega to finally tag in Bliss, but once she came in, she was on fire. She hit the Sister Abigail on Green to get the pin, and after a short rampage. The majority of what we saw in this match was good, but there was enough awkward and mistimed moments to keep it from being as good as it should have been. But again, you love to see Alexa Bliss here. Hopefully the Wyatt 6 can hop back into motion and we can get something with them here, because we haven't seen them in quite a while. So that's just the thing about doing these super groups, I should say. SmackDown's theme song just doesn't fit the show. It's been a while since WWE made the change, and it still doesn't feel like it fits. We also got a promo video from Aleister Black. This is not as spooky as his previous gimmicks, but still created some intrigue. So, this was great to see, and I agree. I love that Bliss was back, I guess you could say, sort of. But we have to go on to the next match, of course, Jade Cargill and Nia Jax. But before we do that, we have to go to Charlotte Flair, who I don't care about, honestly. Like, she can fucking leave wrestling, and I wouldn't care. Charlotte Flair came to the ring after we returned from a break to give a promo. She said she was going to get back to the women's title before berating the crowd for disrespecting her, and she was about to storm off when Jade Cargill made her entrance. They have a stare down. Cargill grabbed a mic and told the Queen to get to the back of the line because I'm in front of it. Of course, backstage, Charlotte would go to her little SUV, but Alexa Bliss would stop her and say, "Let's chat." So, could be cooking up a feud there, maybe. After a break, Jax made her way to the ring. This was two of WWE's strongest women competing in a singles match, so there was some pressure on them to make it feel big. Tiffany Stratton arrived to watch from ringside as they fought for a future title shot. Cargill put Jax in the corner, and the former women's champion ran her over a moment later. This was never going to be a technical showcase of high-flying contests. This was two powerhouses going at it, so they needed to play to their strengths, in both literally and figuratively. They battled through a break, and we returned to see Cargill hit a big Samoan drop. She had a few more impressive displays of power, like a suplex or a power slam in the corner, but none of it was enough to finish off Jax. But, of course, Naomi showed up at ringside and attacked Stratton, which distracted Jade long enough for Jax to take control and hit her finisher for the win. While this match had a couple of cool moments that showed Cargill's power, that wasn't enough to make it memorable. It was slower in some places than it should have been, but the second half definitely picked up, so there's a plus. Legado del Fantasma also attacked Rey Fenix backstage, so Aldis booked Phoenix and Andrade versus Los Garzas. The changed Def Rebel has made Charlotte's music and the changed Def Rebel has made to Charlotte's music were not an improvement. She's really falling down the rabbit hole here. Hence, of course, now the Alexa Bliss thing. But for the women's match itself, honestly, we should have seen Jade Cargill and Nia Jax a long time ago. If you do recall my videos when I used to do on the 2K games, I mentioned that like they kind of fucked up the Queen of the Ring shit. They pushed Nia Jax in there with having DQ finish, and they put instead of having Cargill and Jax be for that spot, they did fucking Bianca Belair and Jax. So, you got what you got, and this is what you got. You got this on a fucking SmackDown. So, most likely, we could be looking at, of course, and I've said this before, too, they should be building Naomi up to her character as a heel, and she should be going one-on-one with Stratton. Nia Jax can be there, sure. But Cargill is going to be sidelined for a while until we get Charlotte Flair and something. Wherever the women's division is kind of in a bit of a turmoil, like you saw, of course, a week ago. And so is the tag team division. The tag team champions, the Street Profits, took on the newest team, the hottest team on SmackDown, Fraxium. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins came to the ring, bandaged up after their brutal TLC match a couple weeks ago. They spoke for a bit before Fraxium came out and asked for a title shot. Aldis came out and said, whoa, you guys aren't going to just hop along. We're not going to have a title shot right here, but you'll have an opportunity. So he booked a non-title match to see if Fraxium could hang with the champions. And boy, can they fucking hang with whoever they're in the ring with. This is a great tag team together. These are basically, I call them the superhero duo. With Ford and Dawkins doing so much to sell their... Well, the match was in progress. Ford and Dawkins selling their injuries from the TLC match, of course. So Frazier and Axiom were able to take advantage of being the fresher of two teams. So the Street Profits are doing much to sell their injuries. The match wasn't as fast-paced as it usually would be. That being said, they still put on a great show with a lot of fun spots, especially from Fraxium. The good thing about the Profits purposely working slower than usual was that it allowed them to leave a lot of room to grow in the future, in future encounters between the two teams. The fact that this was still as good as it was is a testament to how great both duos are. With fantastic back and forth contest, Fraxium scored the win and possibly earned a title shot in the process. Make sure you don't miss this one. So if there's any match you want to go back and see, go back and watch this match, because this match is high flying and I've seen some of the clips and pretty fucking good shit from Fraxium. A-, and oh my god, you're going to expect more A's than anything. We also got another fun, cool match here. Of course, we got Carmelo Hayes and, of course, Aleister Black. The next match that got featured was Black taking on Carmelo Hayes, who had The Miz at ringside for support. Black defeated The Miz in his returning match, so Hayes was hoping to learn from his partner's mistakes. They locked up and had a great exchange of counters and takedowns to get the action going. Hayes unloaded with some strikes in the corner, but Black no-sold it and fired back to send him out of the ring for a moonsault. The match got more competitive during the break and saw Hayes get in a lot more offense, but Black still maintained control most of the time. They quickly developed a lot of chemistry and put on a fun match that allowed both of them to shine, but The Miz accidentally cost Hayes here. He tried to distract Black, but Hayes crashed right into The Miz, and of course, Black rolled him up for a 1-2-3 victory, before immediately taking out Miz with a black mass, before exiting the ring and sitting in the idol. So this is a good B+. Black was going to defeat Hayes, and he's picking up more victories here, of course. Black might have to find himself a tag team partner to stand with Carmelo and The Miz if they're going to continue this Mello don't Miz fucking routine. They're really just trying to get Miz something to do here. And Carmelo, because they really got nothing for them. So maybe if we can have our truth hop back into the phrase here, we could, have them go 1, 2, and then have Carmelo Hayes kick out again. If you guys remember that. Thank whatever deity you pray to that Black was able to keep his old entrance music. Yes, I do agree with that observation. So, this is great, a B+, and I agree. I think this is another match to go out of your way and see. Of course, can't forget about that other tag team match. So we had 4 fucking tag team matches on this goddamn show. They're really doing a lot with tag teams, because they didn't put any tag teams on the fucking Backlash card. Los Garzas and versed Andrade and Rey Fenix. The next bout was another tag team match booked earlier in the show, as Andrade and Rey Fenix took on Berto and Angel. Phoenix and Angel started things off with a fast-paced exchange, but it didn't take long for Berto to tag in. Santos Escobar accidentally distracted the ref when Berto had Phoenix pinned. El Idolo was able to hit his finisher to get the win for his team. As expected, this was a fast-paced and entertaining match. All 4 of these guys are tremendous athletes, so they would have to try to have a bad match. Escobar ripped into Berto for losing, and things got tense before Berto stormed off. Angel just looked confused. So we could be looking at the breakup, of course, here of Santos Escobar and his little crew, you know, as Andrade will probably turn Berto and Angel into prospects under his leadership and whatnot. So we could be looking at Andrade and we could be looking at a 3-man good group, right? Also, Joe Tessitore and, of course, Wade Barrett talked about WWE buying AAA and said the spotlight on Lucha Libre has never been brighter. Time will tell. Graded a B+ for this. And this was pretty much the last match of the night before we got into the main event, which was the promo from Cena. So, yes, graded this a B+ because it was good, and the story is lining up to be good, too. The champ is here. When John Cena came out for the final segment, he got a lot of cheers than expected. But the crowd's still saying Cena sucks, especially with R-Truth saying, "Let's go Cena." No, it sucks, because R-Truth at one point had a sign that said, I love John Cena, or, you know, "Let's go Cena." And Jimmy Uso trying to talk him, and the two funniest guys in the back just talking to him. Man, John Cena's, I'm a big fan of it. I would love to see John Cena defend that title against R-Truth at Saturday Night Main Event. That would be funny. Have John Cena take on R-Truth. This would be basically this would be a reference to the Capital Punishment pay-per-view back in 2011. God, I don't even want to mention and think about that. But Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my God. This is basically what it is here. Oh, this is definitely what it is here. But anyway, somebody in the front fucking row decided that it was a smart idea to throw a beer bottle in the ring, actually hitting Cena, mind you, just for him to shake his head, stop his ring announcer to pick it up, shake his head, and with a look of disgust, and throw it away. Now, you could say that this is better than having to. You could say this is better than hopping the barricade and attacking the wrestler. But let's make it very clear. In the words of Wheezy Blonde, and of course in my own words, don't be a dick. Okay, don't throw shit at the wrestlers. Like if Cena threw his shirt and you threw it back, I understand that it's a shirt, but you threw a fucking beer bottle at him. Be more respectful. Okay? Yeah, he sucks. Of course he does. But don't fucking do that. I hope whoever threw, unless that was a planned one. Unless that was planned to happen. Don't fucking do it. Really. Cena would then spend the last 10 minutes of the show verbally trashing Orton. He even insulted Orton's dad, saying that the best thing that Orton's dad has done is basically Randy Orton's mom. And grandfather, and brought up a failed drug test from Orton's past, which is true. I'm surprised he didn't bring up the motorcycle incident as well. This was a solid promo from, actually maybe that was the motorcycle incident. I don't know. I just know that there was a motorcycle incident and there's a drug test that he failed. This was a solid promo from Cena that included a couple of lines that were going to be popular on social media. Someone in a black hoodie, probably a hooded Miles Bourne, tried to hit an RKO on Cena, only for Cena to take him down. But it was all a ruse because Randy Orton is 2 steps ahead of him. As Randy Orton showed up from behind, doing the whole waving thing, as Cena held his title in the air, turned him around, hit him with an RKO to close the show. And this was graded a B. And there's nothing more. And you see this, that John Cena has been taken out many times, and Cena is going to probably retain. What am I saying? Probably. He's going to fucking retain. But this is all we had for SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown was a bit of a mixed bag, but the good far outweighed the bad when it came to in-ring action. Of course, a lot of tag team matches. You can really fucking tell that they wanted to focus more on doing tag teams because there's no tag team match on the fucking Backlash card. Andrade and Phoenix picked up a victory over Los Garzas. Black put on a good performance against Hayes in what is almost guaranteed to be his first of many encounters. However, nothing stole the show more than the Street Profits taking on Firaxium. Not only did they steal the show, but they did so while the Profits were intentionally holding back to sell injuries. SmackDown, the SmackDown Tag Team division has been one of the bright spots in WWE recently, and that does not appear to be changing anytime soon. And yes, I like how you mentioned this because I mentioned earlier in this, the tag team division has been in a bit of a turmoil, and with them doing tag team spots here, I mean, can you really say, like, let's look at most of these tag team matches, right? Let's go back. All right, Los Garza, this man kind of made sense. Okay, I could see Andrade them being like tag team partners. You had this match, which was the tag team. You had fucking this match, even though the only real tag team here is them. And then, of course, you got a tag team of where these guys are the only closest thing to a tag team, and these guys can't even get along. So, again, not a part of the tag team division. Maybe the women's tag team division. Both the tag team division, and then, of course, another tag team division right here. So, really going about it, yeah, sure. You could say it's a bright... On SmackDown, the SmackDown tag team division is bright, but as a general tag team division, aspect-wise, it's not. It's not. It's not. They need some more work. If Fraxium can continue to perform at a high level like this, they are going to be very successful. Ending the show with Cena's promo made sense. He did a good job hyping up this match, even if he got a fucking beer bottle thrown at him. And with Orton, of course, sneaking up and hitting an RKO out of nowhere, there's really a lot of hype to this. But nothing he said was surprising. Nothing Cena said can ever be surprising. So the overall show is graded a B, and I 100% agree. SmackDown was just their go-home show, and they really got nothing to it. I mean, what? SmackDown has... Let's go back. Let's go check this out. SmackDown has what to it? SmackDown has... I'm sorry if I'm a bit snuffly. I'm still a bit sick. They have what? They got 1, 2. They got 2 matches from SmackDown. The rest are from Raw. And their SmackDown, that's the main event. So, yeah. SmackDown got really nothing to do with, but they hyped up they started off hyping up the US, and they wanted to hype up, of course, Cena and Orton. So, there was that. They did what they needed to do in the ways that they needed to do, and that was good. So, but that was it for SmackDown. Nothing really, other than Cena and Orton's promo, the tag team match between the Street Profits and Fraxium, nothing really stood out. This was just another classic episode of SmackDown that went for like 3 hours. That needs to go back to 2 hours. Hopefully around June they'll go back to 2 hours. Or August, they'll go back to 2 hours. But until then, or until they get to Netflix, they're going to be this way. So, as you guys know, I will be back next week to do the SmackDown review, of course. Look out tomorrow on Mother's Day for a 10 a.m. stream of the Backlash review of what went down in St. Louis. Did Cena retain his title? Did Orton get a loud pop from the crowd? Because I know they're going to do the whole loud barrier. But find that all out tonight, of course, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 I think it's 4 Pacific, right? Yeah, you guys should see you guys will see it at Backlash. It's right? Yeah. You guys probably can't see that, but hold on. Yep. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, of course, today. Internationally on Netflix, but exclusively on Peacock, presented by Morgan & Morgan. And not this stream is not presented by that, but again, I'll see you guys next week. I hope you have a great weekend. Also, happy Mother's Day to all the mommies out there. And I will see you guys tomorrow, and I'll see you on Tuesday, and I'll see you next week. Peace.